2 recommendations in a row? Yeah. That's the whole bit. I'm trying to be more structured. It's spooky season, so this is a time that most people are looking for recommendations, and I am happy to provide that service to you happy few. Last year, I recommended the absolutely hilarious The Final Girls. Not just hilarious, the great The Final Girls. And this year, I'd like to recommend something in a very similar vein, and that is Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. Yes, I'm recommending both. You'll see why in a few minutes. So the first one was released in 2017, and I knew that I had to see it after trailer 1. Like I said, I love a horror comedy, and it's the best way for me to consume the subgenres that I don't like slasher. If you've forgotten this one, it's Groundhog Day, but with stabbing. Tree wakes up on her birthday, and she is a selfish, horrible person. She goes through her day doing whatever she wants and treating people badly, but then she's stabbed by a serial killer in a baby mask, and she wakes up again that morning. So this did borrow from the Edge of Tomorrow storyline in that, unlike Groundhog Day, the loop isn't after she goes to sleep, it's after she dies. So presumably, if she just survives to the end of the day, she'll get out of the loop. Easier said than done. The killer is absolutely relentless. Why would he want her dead? She's so nice. In traditional Groundhog Day form, she grows and becomes a better person as the day progresses until she finally lives to the next day and ends the loop. I'll start with a couple of faults. One, I mentioned in my Final Girls recommendation that horror comedy is an extremely difficult genre to pull off because it is very, very hard to be funny and actually scary. Very few real horror comedies exist. And this is not one of them. It has the problem of removing the stakes for the story. Most horror movies are about the suspense of who lives and who dies, and since we know that Tree is essentially immortal, there's no real fear attached to her danger. Even in caring about other characters, we have a problem because they revive too if the day restarts. But the writers seem to know this, and instead of leaning into the horror, they lean into the mystery. Who is killing her, and why? And you know what? It's actually a pretty good mystery, I say as someone who's notoriously bad at solving them. What sells this movie, though, is Jessica Rowith, I honestly don't know, as Tree. She is fantastic. The hardest thing about a redemption story is to make it worthwhile as a redemption. The lead character has to be terrible. But if a character is terrible, how do you get the audience to watch it? Few characters can pull that off, and even fewer actors can pull off those characters. Ryan Reynolds and Bill Murray are 2 sterling examples. They are both capable of being absolute jackholes, but you still like them and want to keep watching because they're funny and charismatic. Jessica Rothe can be added to that list. Her charisma in this movie is just off the charts. She's a sorority girl who falls into every stereotype about that. She hasn't spoken to her dad since her mom died. She's having an affair with a married professor. It is all bad. But my gosh, you enjoy watching her be a terrible person. And she really expertly handles her progression as she becomes better. Her face changes as it progresses. I don't know enough about makeup to know if that's part of it, but she looks kinder as the story progresses. So give that one a watch. It is great. And then, if you like it, the follow-up, Happy Death Day to You, is also really good. So this begs the question, how do you have a sequel to a time loop movie? Now, I thought that too. They actually managed it. You see, a friend of Tree's new boyfriend tells him he thinks he's already been in today. Tree believes him instantly and says she can help. This leads to her following him to his science project, which is some sort of reactor. It explodes. She wakes up back at the beginning of her original loop, but things are slightly different. In some ways better, in some ways worse. And now she's stuck in a loop again, and she has to decide which reality she wants to stay in. The first wasn't really horror. It was horror adjacent, and this one is even less so. It's really more of a sci-fi story, but my gosh, it's so fun and funny. It's kind of comparable to the difference between Alien and Aliens. I feel like most people know what I mean by that. I really don't have to elaborate. Anyway, give them both a watch this year. You'll see me next time if you subscribe. Bye.